What's up, music fans of the internet? I'm Derek.
I'm Kevin.
And together we're last week's album. We're bringing you two opinions on the best new music. And this week we're talking about Star Wars by Wilco and asking the big question, besides its surprise release, is there anything else surprising about it? But before we go any further, we're going to start things off like we always do, drinking a beer. Cheers, Kevin, and everyone at home.
Cheers, Derek, and everyone at home.
All right, so Wilco is the band fronted by Jeff Tweedy, formerly of Uncle Tupelo fame. And Wilco, this is her 9th studio album by all accounts. And this was released by surprise on the internet for free the other day. So if you are reviewing this video timely, make sure once you're done viewing this video, you go download it. And it's called Star Wars. It's their newest material since 2011, which was the album The Whole Love. And without any further surprises, let's talk about what it sounds like. Kevin, what do you think of Star Wars?
Derek, I think Star Wars sounds like Wilco goes back in time and space to jam with Wilco. What do you think, Derek?
Oh, wow. You almost lost me in the space-time continuum of your self-references there. I like it, though. However, I think Star Wars, the album, sounds more like Episode 1, the Star Wars movie, whereas Yankee Hotel Foxtrot was The Empire Strikes Back. So before we digress further into nerddom, let's talk about key tracks. Kevin, what did you have?
I'm going with number 4, The Joke Explained, and number 9, Cold Slope. What about you?
I'm actually going with Random Name Generator, the 3rd track, and then number 5, You Satellite. So I'll kick us off. The 3rd track, Random Name Generator, obviously fantastic track title from the get-go. It's really characterized by this playful, layered electric guitar riffs, steady bass snare drum beat. I really thought it kind of reminded me of I'm a Wheel from A Ghost is Born, just the same kind of energy and drive. Increased electric guitar flourishes as the track continued. The intensity of intervening guitars riffs really built throughout, since kind of added sparingly here and there, built further texture. And this really kind of fades out before seemingly falling off the rails. So really just kind of a fun track, classic Jeff Tweedy stream of consciousness lyrics here. From what you can pick up, they're kind of funny here and there. But if you can't, it's just random strings of words anyway. So Random Name Generator was great.
Yeah. Speaking of funny and maybe or maybe not getting it, I'm going with track number 4, The Joke Explained. And I like its jittery, chugging percussion, whimsical, almost fried guitar, spoken word vocals, bouncy bass. There's a sort of short, trippy bridge. Ultimately, it sounds like classic old school Wilco twang and jangle mixed with some of their newer psychedelic effects. Lyrics are pretty loopy and cryptic, which I think suits the song's title perfectly. Explaining its meaning would probably ruin the song. So we won't even talk about what it means. Let you interpret it and decide the song explained, if you will. What was your next key track, Derek?
I'm going with You Satellite, which I thought, again, was really highlighted by the complex layering of guitar riffs here that kind of enter and exit, building intensity as song builds. It's really very stripped down at first. There's just kind of an evenly strummed descending guitar riff. And then there's kind of a more soaring line on top of that. Crunchier guitars join the descending riff later. Then there's kind of a floating arpeggio-ish type riff on top of that. And so I just really like the building intensity here, and just again kind of builds into this nice warm, pleasant fuzz of sound towards the end.
Yeah, that one almost reminded me of like Wilco impersonating U2 for some reason.
Yeah, I got some vibes of Lou Reed there too, a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Next up, number 9, Cold Slope. It's very dark and staccato and got this great bluesy groove. The bass and drums sort of drive the whole thing. There's wiry and jangly guitars to add some nuance. And there's jittery, almost out of tune dueling guitars later in the track. And the very ending gets really dreamy with these twinkling guitar swirls. And it sounds really timeless yet modern at the same time. Just a great track overall.
Awesome. Well, it brings us to best lyric. What did you have?
I'm going with a line from Taste the Ceiling, and it actually works better if you know the context of it. Within this song, he's sort of talking to an ex-friend or ex-lover. We're not really sure. Someone he's breaking ties with, obviously. I guess I'm pretty sure it's an ex-lover now that I rethink about the line. But it is, all along, I couldn't take a kiss like you. And I thought it was a great double entendre on its own, but then at the end of this song, it's the last line he said as a sort of a biting outro, or last words, and just really hits strongly within the context of the song. What about you, Derek?
Awesome. I'm taking one from The Joke Explained, at least what I kind of picked up on it. I don't know if this answers your question that you were throwing out earlier as to what is The Joke Explained, but here is one lyric. Maybe I'll explain later. But he says, I better smoke my chains with whoever measures the crest. They can have my broken chest. It's a staring contest in a hall of mirrors. I was in tears, but don't ever cry. It's like the longer I kind of listen to it, the more it kind of made me chuckle. Most especially, it's a staring contest in a hall of mirrors. I hope I don't have to explain that one. And so that brings us to overall rating and asking the big question, besides its surprise release, is there anything surprising about it? So Kevin, why don't you start us off?
Sure. I will start with overall rating. I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. I think it's spacey and psychedelic and poppy. It's edgier and darker and more freewheeling than some of their very early work and some of their latest work. I think it's much less concerned with perfection than previous albums. It just feels like they're letting loose and having fun, and that comes across in a really good way. You've got the rough edges of tracks like you mentioned, Derek, You Satellite, and then classic Wilco tracks, Taste the Ceiling, Magnetized, for example. To answer the big question, besides its surprise release, what's so surprising about it? I think that it's so good. I feel like personally they've been hit or miss with their recent releases for me. And a lot of times bands will do the surprise release as a gimmick, almost to hide maybe a bad album or to disguise it and get people excited about it. And I think it's really ballsy that they did that, and really were able to keep their mouth shut about something they're excited about and release it and still have it be so strong. So yeah, that's what I think. What about you, Derek?
Absolutely. You know, I think, yeah, surprising about, I think there's a lot of really good things about it. And the fact that they were able to keep it under wraps for so long, I'm just surprised by that. Another thing I was surprised about is the cat on the cover of the album. Why? I think they are testing whether or not you put anything cat related on your material, especially if it's like the underlying material is not cat related, if it does better, especially when it's free. Cats plus free equals a lot of money somewhere. I don't know where exactly, but somewhere. And as an extension here at last week's album, by throwing the album cover right up there, we're doing the same exact thing. So I was really surprised by that. I hope to be pleasantly surprised by the results of that. But that being said, good things about it. A, it's a Wilco record. B, it's a free Wilco record. So those are fantastic. These tracks really, I totally agree with a lot of what you said. You know, there's kind of a darker, I don't know, at first listen, it may seem like they just threw this together quickly, but the more I keep listening to it, the more there's a lot of little nuances in there that maybe just aren't as pronounced or, you know, identifiable as in earlier Wilco works. But I totally agree. I think they are kind of harkening back to a lot of sounds and ideas that they kind of worked on earlier. And I just really I think this one's going to keep growing on me. So that's why I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 as well. So there you have it. Ken and I agree. We're both giving this a 4 out of 5. So that's a combined 8 out of 10. So if you haven't done it already, I mean, go check out Star Wars by Wilco. I mean, they're offering it for free on the internet right now. Don't forget to subscribe to last week's album, where we're also providing free reviews of music stuff on the internet. So you should totally subscribe to that probably before you go download your free Wilco album. So thanks again for joining us here, and don't forget to subscribe. Where we're talking about we're bringing two opinions on best new music. God. And until next time, I'm Derek.
I'm Kevin. Cheers, guys.